Hi and welcome back to let's go to chapter 9, access network attached storage. Roll the intro for a little bit because it looks nice. That's enough. Yeah. So I have been messing up a little bit the chapter numbers, but you see the thumbnail, you see the title. That's what it counts. So let's go back. Let's go here immediately. And what you're going to do what we are going to do now is going to discuss chapter 9, access network attached storage. In other words, you're going to set up we're going to set up really quick an NFS server. Sorry, NFS server and an NFS client in simple terms, okay? And we're also going to discuss autofs. So this is all about the NFS server and NFS client. In simple terms, NFS is network file system, and this is used to share files. Okay, so if you are very anal about all of this stuff, and you know I'm not, we are going to set up a NFS server and network file system or network file server. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I forgot to set up my RGB light there, so while I'll do that because that actually bothers me. So if you are really anal with all of this stuff, you probably will disagree with my next description, but it is what it is. So NFS is a native and usually considered Linux native NFS file sharing service. So we're going to share some files in Linux in a network file system. We don't call it share a file. We call it export a folder. I mean, tomato, potato, whatever the case. So we are going to get a folder on our file system, on our designated NFS server, and we're going to export that folder, and that folder will be accessible through the network. So that's basically what NFS is. If you want some more nitty-gritty details, this is not the video for that. We're just going to set up a really quick NFS server. And basically our server, our Rocky 2 is going to be our NFS server, and it's going to be our NFS server. It's going to export a folder, and exporting that folder, it will be accessible through the network to other client machines. That's as simple as that, okay? So it's similar to sharing your folder on Windows, okay? It's similar. It's not technically the same thing. It has some blah, 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 differences and details, and I mean, it's different, of course it is, or else it will be the same. But you are exporting a folder, and by exporting that, you are making it visible to the network using the NFS protocol, and that's what you have to know. Okay, so we're going to use Rocky 2 as our NFS test subject, and I don't really know if NFS server is installed or not, so let's find that out. So there are many ways to do that. So let's do rpm-qa grep -i NFS. So apparently it's not installed. So let's install it. systemctl. Oh my god. So dnf install NFS. Let's hit the tab key a couple of times just to see what we get. And you have NFS utils, client utils, CoreOS. It's probably, well, I know what packages it is. I'm just kind of making this a little bit of a scene. So let's install this, and let's do this. People have been asking me to do as much as possible on the videos, and that's what I'm doing. So let's pull this up a little bit. Cool, nice. Now, how do I set up an NFS server? Well, I mean, you can do a simple setup or more advanced setup. I'm going to do, as you know, a simple setup for now. So I'm going to do a really simple NFS server setup. So it's well. Simple. So the easiest way to do that is just do vi the etc exports folder or file. I'm sorry. Which is empty. So if it exists but it's empty, you are on the correct path. I mean, even with the server installed, with the service installed, it should be present but empty, which is fine. Next, to just tell the system what you want to export. So in this case, I'm going to go back to my previous stuff. And this is wow. Let's do this df-h. It's a little bit simpler to interpret. And I'm going to use this folder as an example, the mntll LVNU2's folder. I want to export this. Let's call this LVM file, LVM file dot file, whatever. Just have to have something there. And I'm going to export this folder. So I'm going to go here to the exports. I'm going to export this. And this should be plenty. Okay, this is all you need to do for a very simple NFS export. You can add more options here, but I just don't. You can do like, for example, read write or read only sync. Well, I can, since I'm typing it, I can just keep it. Okay, and let's see what happens. So read only and sync are, well, read only, you know what that means. Sync is to keep everything in sync in terms of client and server. Don't worry too much about that. Just let's see if its server starts. Systemctl start NFS server. No news, good news. Status. And it started. I see no issues, and we are good to go. So as you can see, it's a very simple thing just to do a quick NFS server. So we just go to the etc exports, and you add what you want to export, and if you want to add extra options, you can. These are optional. You don't have to put them down there. If you don't, the NFS server will apply some default ones for you. Okay, so we are pretty okay with that. But if you want to be a little bit more, pretty, this is going to make it a mount read-only. You cannot change. It's a read-only export or share, and this is going to synchronize the client and server. Don't worry too much about what the sync means. Just live happy. Okay, and we should be good to go. The status shows no problems. Cool. So let's assume the NFS server it's good. It's a-okay and good to go. Cool. Let's go to the client, and my client here is going to be Rocky1. And there are a few utilities I want to use. I want to use a command called showmount. I don't know if it's installed. Showmount, it's not installed. Okay, so let's try do that. So let's try and find out. Okay, DNF, what provides? I know the package. Okay, I'm just doing a little bit of a show. Showmount. Well, no pun intended. Cool. And the showmount utility, it's available with the NFS utils, which is fine. So DNF install -y NFS utils. Good chow. And we're good to go. So the showmount command, what it does is that it's going to show us NFS shares or NFS exports on the specified server. So I know what I have shared, okay? And I know that some of you guys are just getting really nervous because I'm saying a shared folder. It's an export, but who cares? So I'm going to do the show mount, and I'm going to do the -e option and specify Rocky2. And this is going to show me what NFS exports or shares Rocky2 has, okay? This is giving me a RPC unable to receive message. Can you guys think about what might be causing this? What can be causing this? What can be causing this? The firewall. You are correct. So in order for the show mounts to work, and also for me to be able to mount some NFS shares on the server, this camera is way too red. I need to control the contrast. That's fine. I get lost sometimes. Sure. So I need to allow the show mount to work, which means that the firewall on Rocky2 is a little bit too restrictive. So I need to open some ports. And since I know what ports I need to open, let me walk you through that. So firewall cmd --add service and RPC bind. So this is going to allow the show mount command to work from the client. Okay, so firewall cmd --reload, and this should be able to. Okay, we still don't have all the ports open because we need another one, which is the mount D. Now we do the reload, and this should be enough. Okay, so going back to the history on the server, and if you open the where is it? The RPC bind port and the mount D port, RPC bind mount D. This will allow the showmount command to work. Okay, this is not going to enable NFS to work. Okay, this is not going to allow. This is not. You don't need this if you just want to access the shared folders or the shared export. You don't need this. You don't need the showmount to be able to access exported file systems. You just if you want the showmount to show you the exports, showmount will show you. It's in the name command, right? So the showmount is going to show you exports, what's being exported by a server. Okay. If you want to have this functionality, if you want this comfort in a way, you need to open RPC bind and mount D on the server. Okay, you don't need that in order to access the files. You just need that to have this possibility to show your mounting options, the files or folders that are shared by the server. Okay, so you just need to open RPC bind and open the mount D if you actually want to use the showmount command and similar things. To access the files, you don't need that. Okay, in order to access the files, you're going to use the mount command. So mkdir mnt NFS Share. So this is on the client. Okay, this is on the client. Now just do the mount command. So do mount. You specify the server. I forget the full host name. Which is the full host name? It's lab on host name. Okay, it's like this. Okay, mount rock column, the shared folder, and the local file system. And you will see what happens. So you are just using the mount command to mount an NFS Share on this local folder. It's like mounting a partition, but NFS. Well, as you can see, this is just hanging. And do you know why the cause? Why it is hanging? Why do you think I'm connecting to the Rocky 2 server? I'm hanging. Do you see any errors on my syntax here? Is the mount command badly built? Nice English. No, it's fine. You just need to open another port here on the server, which is NFS. Now you should be able to mount. See, no biggie. The F-H on the client, and there we go. This is mounted, and it's mounted on this folder. Now, which means that every time I list this, I will see what was there, which I am. Pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm overexposed here. Yeah, I digress. Cool. I can fix that. It's not good. Either I'm overexposed or my skincare is really good. I'll go for the second one. Cool. And I bet my logo being off-center is bothering some people out there, but deal with it. Cool. Yeah. So every time I read or write from here, I'm writing from this NFS server /share. This is not going to happen on the boot. Nope. You need to put this on the FS tab. So I'll just get this. If you want to mount it on the boot, if you want to mount on boot, you don't have to. I'll just show you how it's done. etc FS tab. Let's open here a pretty section. NFS shares. And bam. NFS defaults 00. How hard can it be? It's not. So mount -A, and this for sure will be mounted at boot. Just be careful, because since this is a network dependent stuff. Oops, I'm a dum-dum. Just to make it things a little bit more nice on the eyes. And in every reboot, this is going to be mounted through the network. Congratulations, you just have set up a simple NFS server and connected to that share from a client. Cool. Now, one thing that you probably have noticed is that, or you should know at this point, the mount command can only be used by root. Okay, so the mount command, only root can do the mount, which means only root can do this. But there is a way to allow non-root users to be able to access NFS shares without using the actual mount command, and that's by using a service called autofs. So autofs, it's a service that the root can set up for non-root users, so that non-root users can actually access NFS shares and other shares. Autofs, it can be enabled for NFS, can be enabled for Samba, partitions, regular disks, and well, other stuff. So autofs relates to mount, but by mounting without the needs or the need to be the root user. So only root can mount, only the root can mount. Okay, but if you set up the autofs service properly, you can allow non-root users to be able to access shares like NFS, Samba, or partitions. So let's set this up as root. So let's install it. Then install autofs. Yes. Okay, systemctl enable minus now autofs. Cool. Now it's installed and it's set up. Just by being set up, let me show you something. Right now, I am a non-root user, right? I am the student user. I am non-root. If I do the cd/net, there's a folder that does not exist. For example, Rocky 2 does not have the autofs service installed. If I ls the / folder, there is no net folder. Okay? But in here, I have installed the autofs and I have started it as root. Now, regular users can do this, cd/net. And it's a folder that it's only maintained by the autofs service while it's running. It does not exist on the disk. It's just something maintained by the autofs service by default. We can disable it if you wish. If I list, I see nothing. But if I type in the host name of the NFS server, it actually does the mount command for me. Okay, so if the root allows this, because the root can, if needed, can disallow this, but the root installed the service, the root made it available, and by default the autofs creates the net folder, and within the net folder you can cd to the host name of the NFS server, and you can actually see the NFS mounts. Okay, if the root user allows that. So I'm not root, and I'm able to see the contents of the NFS server by just using the net share, the net folder. This is maintained by the autofs. So let me show you. So I go back to root. Okay, so if I see the master file, which is the main file of the autofs service, you see that I have some other options, of course, and this is the option that gives this capability of the root or any other user does /net and can then connect to NFS servers by using the host name of the servers. Pretty cool if you ask me. If you want something more custom, and that's what I'm going to try. This is what I'm going to try now, because often at times, oh, my skin tones here are good. I need to check the camera. Okay, so often at times, you cannot, or it's not the best thing to use the net. I want something more custom. Okay, and that's something we can do. And now you are probably going to see me struggle with this, because I often cannot do this from memory. But people ask me for me to troubleshoot, so you'll see me troubleshoot. Cool. Now what do we do? So I know that I have this share, so I will try to do the following. Instead of going through the /net default share, I want to do cd/files, for example. And my /files folder will mount this folder and not the full net path. Let me try. If I fail, I fail. If I succeed, I succeed. I don't care. So auto.master, let's open here a section for us. My custom. This is just cosmetics, okay? You don't have to do this. My custom. So let's see. Let's see if I can do this. So if I do something like, oops, sorry, something like this. This is called a direct map, I believe. Then I just go auto etc auto dot files. What this means is that I'm going to have this file to configure a specific mount. Let me go through and you will understand. Cool. Now I'll build that file, etc auto.files, and here's I'm going to make it the files. Okay, is going to mount the Rocky2 .example.com, and the share is, I forget because I am a dum-dum, and it's like, let me copy paste it. Okay, bam. You can add the custom options of read write, read only, whatever. It doesn't really matter that much. Okay, so let's restart the service. Restart autofs. This is looking at so far so good, no errors. So my major syntax, it looks okay. Now if I do cd/files, okay, no such file. So let's review. That's fine. Okay, so let's try going to the master and do like this. Let's restart. There we go. Cool. Now what happens here is that let's review the configuration. Wait, -H. Let's unmount this because I'm mounting the same thing twice. What? No mount. Oh dear Lord. Okay, so let's systemctl. This systemctl. We start autofs /files. This is not looking good. The folder is there, but the contents are not. Okay, let me check my notes because I'm not far off. This is just probably some mistake of mine. Okay, let's install. Yeah. Yep. What did I do wrong? Okay, I think I know what I did wrong. Let's try this again. Let's go to the master file once more. And this is, I did it right at first. This is like this. This is what my cheat sheet tells me. Then I go to the secondary file. Okay, let's just move this around a little bit and put this here. Maybe it makes a difference. Or read only. Sync Rocky2 example.com mn2 lvenue2. Okay, let's restart. Now we're cooking. I was almost there at the first try. I just needed to add the options. I thought it was. Never mind. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let me show you the master file. So here we just need to do this. This is called a direct map. So you say I'm going to map a folder, and the configuration details are going to be here. And if you check this, you say, okay, every time someone does cd/files, you mount this NFS folder with these options. So my mistake was I was putting this in the end. I think it was the first time in my life I put it in the end. Nice timing here, right? But yeah, I put it here because it's where it belongs. Okay. Probably the log file was showing me something and I just didn't check the log file. So don't do as I do as I say. Cool. So now every time I'm using the root, every time someone does this, it's showing the contents of the file, of the shared folder through NFS. So which means that if root sets this up, okay, then non-root users can just do cd into a specified folder, and that folder will have the contents of NFS Share. Pretty cool. And this can be used for NFS, can be used for Samba, can be used for shared folders, whatever the case. See, this is basically mounting for us in a different path. So autofs, it's your friend if you want to give non-root users the option to get some custom files from an NFS server on a specific path. Whew, so that was chapter 9. We have been through a lot together. I'm really happy to have you with me. Like and subscribe, it really helps. But before I do that, let me thank you for all the comments, likes, and the subscription that I have been having so far. It's been a really nice adventure to going through the RH124 134. We still have lots to go through the 134, but let me thank you in advance all the support. I hope this channel grows even further to get this into more and more people out there in the world. But you can help me out by liking and subscribing and commenting. So like and subscribe, it really helps. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.